Are you someone that no matter how many nice things people say about you and how many different people say nice things about you, you tend to focus on the 1% of people that don't say anything or that don't have nice things to say? So why do we do that? Well, it's very interesting because even when people do say those things, do you believe that? Even when people say what you want them to say, are you feeling that within yourself? Like, are you actually able to believe those things? You can hear that, but do you feel it? There is a huge difference. So why we tend to focus on those things, those negative things, or the things that don't show up for us like how we want them to, is mainly because we have not given that to ourselves. Once we start to acknowledge and incorporate this into our healing journey, meaning once we're able to start reworking and rewiring our brain and being able to start combating our thought processes, then we're able to actually start aligning to what people are saying and actually believe that and actually feel that. So our frequency, we have a frequency, okay? We each have our own personal vibration. And when we are at a dense vibration or a dense frequency, we are unable to actually perceive what people are saying. So once we start healing these perceived flaws, or once we start learning how to love ourselves, which allows for our frequency to change, we're actually able to align and receive what other people are saying that are good about us. What is also happening in this process is we begin to love who we are and not who we're wanting to be, versus, when we're so wanting to have other people's approval because we're still trying to fit in a mold that we think society wants us to fit in. When we begin to embrace everything about us, which is a difficult process, when we begin to embrace those things, we begin to honor the process and actually really start to love those things. And if people don't see that about us, and we're okay with that, with them not being in our lives, because they are actually things that we are learning to love. So if you find yourself not able to receive compliments from people or only focusing on the negative aspects of things, know that these are the things that you can do. What is it that you're seeking? I would start giving that to yourself. So if you're wanting to hear like you're a good person, you are such a friendly person and you give a lot, start telling that to yourself. Start by telling that to yourself. When you catch yourself, your inner critic, that is when you can stop and say, I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm not believing that today. Then you just counter that with thoughts that you can actually believe. I am working towards loving myself. I am working towards accepting myself and everything about me. And you begin to start this dialogue within yourself, and soon you begin to believe the things that you're saying, and therefore you're actually able to align to these other things that you perceive about yourself. And this is really how an expansion begins, is when we start to give what we are seeking outwardly, we begin to give it to ourselves inwardly.